When LEDs first emerged in the 1960s, they could only emit red and infrared light. When Nick Holonyak developed the first visible red LED in 1962, it marked an exciting beginning for this technology. Then came the green LED. However, there was a critical missing color needed to produce white light and other colors: blue. Because the way to produce white light was by combining red, green, and blue light. Without a blue LED, screens could not display true colors. LED bulbs, on the other hand, could not be used for everyday lighting. In other words, without blue light, there was no white light, and without white light, the potential of LED technology would always remain incomplete. Producing the blue LED was, for scientists, like the holy grail of the technology world. Everyone was chasing it, but no one could truly reach it. Giant companies like IBM and General Electric worked on it for years. Millions of dollars were spent, but the result was always disappointment. Because blue light was not something easily obtained. To produce light, the material you use must be able to move electrons within a specific energy range. This energy is called the band gap, and the band gap required for blue light was so high that finding a suitable material was like searching for ice in the middle of a desert. Every attempt either produced inconsistent results or failed completely. But here is the interesting part. This seemingly impossible problem would not be solved by giant corporations. It would be solved by someone working quietly on the sidelines, largely unnoticed. A scientist no one had heard of, Suji Nakamura, working at a small chemical company in Japan at the time called Nietzsche. He did not have a massive budget, nor did he have the backing of a powerful university or company. Yet he chose to hold on to a material everyone else had already abandoned: gallium nitride. Moreover, at the time, this material was referred to in the industry as a dead investment. No one believed it would be useful. But Nakamura's motivation was a bit different. He wanted to complete his PhD and thought that writing a paper on a topic no one else was studying would be easier due to the lack of competition. In short, what he chose as the easy path would eventually turn into a massive technological revolution. As the first step of this journey, he convinced the small Japanese company Nietzsche, where he worked, to invest 500 million yen. For an engineer like him, this was an investment size he could hardly even dream of. Then he turned his direction to America. There he began learning a critical technology in LED production called MOCVD, or Metal Organic Chemical Vapor Deposition. In short, with this system, you can create semiconductor layers by placing atoms one by one with extreme precision. But the real challenge began when he returned home. He did not have a ready-made laboratory, nor did he have refined equipment at his disposal. So he built his own reactor from scratch, a system literally filled with pipes, cables, and valves. And then came 10 full years of a life filled with constant experiments, failures, and even explosions, almost without taking any breaks. His laboratory was so dangerous that even stepping inside required courage. But he did not give up, because sometimes, to light a small spark, you must spend a long time in the darkness. And finally, that great moment arrived. After years of experiments, countless failures, and sleepless nights of work, Nakamura had unlocked the secret of the blue LED. The method he used was quite unconventional. With a technique called dual-flow MOCVD, he managed to produce extremely pure and well-structured gallium nitride crystals. But this alone was not enough. He subjected these crystals to a doping process using magnesium, which allowed him to obtain a P-type semiconductor that carries positive charge. Then he processed the crystal at high temperature to remove the hydrogen atoms inside it. And in the final step, he increased light efficiency by adding indium gallium nitride in ultra-thin layers. On top of that, he prevented electrons from escaping by adding an aluminum gallium nitride barrier. It sounds like a very delicious recipe, doesn't it? These technical details may sound complex. Believe me, sometimes I don't even understand what I'm saying. But the essence of it is this: he didn't just produce light, he also managed to control it, contain it, and enhance it. And in 1992, he finally succeeded in producing a bright blue LED with a wavelength of exactly 450 nanometers. Its power was only 1,500 microwatts, in other words, weaker than even a night lamp. But this tiny light was the signal of a massive transformation that would change the entire world. Because with this light, the door to white LEDs was finally opened. LEDs were no longer just small red indicators. They transformed into real sources of light that illuminate our homes, streets, screens, hospitals, and satellites. Within just a few years, LED technology spread at such a speed that by 2025, more than half of global lighting had transitioned to LEDs. But its real impact is far greater than that. Today, thanks to LEDs, the homes of 1.2 billion people who previously had no access to electricity can now be illuminated using just a few watt solar panels and simple batteries. Just imagine, villages that were in darkness until recently are now lit by the soft glow of LED lamps. And this is not just about light. It means a child who can study at night, a shopkeeper who can grow their business, a mother who can give birth safely. And when we think on a global scale, the widespread adoption of LEDs reduces carbon emissions so much that it is equivalent to silencing the exhaust of 75% of all cars in the United States. In fact, according to some calculations, switching all lighting to LEDs could contribute even more carbon savings than the total expected from wind and solar energy. It sounds crazy. And one of the architects of this entire transformation, Suji Nakamura and his team, were finally awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics in 2014. Today, from the phones in our pockets to giant screen televisions, from computers to streetlights, LEDs are everywhere we look. But these small light sources are not just illuminating our devices, they are changing the world. Because lighting consumes approximately 1/4 of global electricity usage, and LEDs consume 80% less energy compared to traditional incandescent lamps. Moreover, they last 25 times longer. This is not just an innovation that lowers bills. It is also a revolution that directly impacts the future of the planet. That is why this blue revolution behind LEDs is not just a success story written in the history of technology. It has also become a turning point for sustainability, energy efficiency, and the fight against global inequality.